So I had a player come into the studio who recently has tried to make a few swing changes and really noticed that their game has suffered based on these swing changes. And actually, these swing changes were probably the right thing for the player at the time. They were trying to get them to become a little bit more reactive for the ground, trying to use some more forces, trying to work a little bit more athletically. And I'm sure the feedback that was given to the player was the correct thing. The issue was that the player was really, really struggling with these changes. They were unable to perform the moves at speed, and they were being left very frustrated with where their game was and lost a lot of love for the game as well. So they'd come to see me to see if there was anything physically going on that was making, their golf suffer. We did all of our usual testing, physical testing, strength testing, mobility testing, stability testing. And we quickly identified that this golfer was in a very, very poor physical condition. They were generally very weak. Their mobility was not great. Their posture had a lot of issues. Their stability was very poor as a result of those two. And power outputs were in the very, very low percentiles. And it was a conversation that we'd had. The golfer is actually a very good, high-skilled golfer. They were playing a good level of golf. They were very skillful with their arms, with their hands, short game very good, and able to get very, very solid, consistent strike. But the changes were happening because they wanted to hit the ball a little bit further and change ball flight a little bit. And we actually had the discussion that the changes they were making were potentially opening them up to identifying all of these physical restrictions that they had. Their game before was masking these because they were managing around skill and around technique, but suddenly now when they're starting to become more required to be athletic in their golf swing, suddenly now these physical restrictions are surfacing. So it was a conversation on how hard are you willing to work physically to gain the strength, power, and stability and mobility and all these things to be able to change the golf swing in the way that you want to change it? Or are we actually better off using the skills, using the asset of skill to play golf to the best level that they can play at the moment and to make small adjustments to them being able to start to make better movements in their golf swing? So let me know if this was you and if you were in this situation similar to this, how would you deal with it? What would you do? Would you really, really try and work hard to make this big change? Would you just try and make small improvements, try and get the most out of what you've currently got?